Hey everybody, Basilray from VapeTV.com, and I have a device review. Today we are going to look at this. This is the feeder grip from SweetVapes.com from Brad or b-rad the Mad Vaper over at SweetVapes.com. He did send this to me to check out, so I did not pay for this. The feeder grip will run you around $135, and what it is a wooden feeder box mod. The build construction here is absolutely rock solid, really great woodwork. I'm using an AW high drain, so it will rattle just a little bit unless I put a spacer in here. This particular box is right-handed. That means it's going to have the plunger here on the right side. So if you grip it in your right hand, you can use like your ring finger or potentially your index finger to feed it. Now, it's not to say that you couldn't use it in your left hand, but this feed plunger, and we'll take a closer look at that, does take quite a bit of pressure. The button here is triggered by the thumb when you hold it, so it's kind of shaped like a pistol grip. The frame here is ebony, and the inlays are in Gamila burl, and the woodwork here is absolutely fantastic. This is not necessarily one solid piece in the frame, but it is rock solid in your hand. I could probably throw this down the stairs, and I would have no fears that this would hold up. In fact, the woodwork is so good here. When I first got it, I didn't even think that this was actually ebony. It just came out really nice. So internally, there is, first of all, an engraving, which we'll take a closer look when we take a close-up on the device. But it will hold either one 18650 or some stacked 3-volt Tenergies for 6-volt vaping. And then you have a 6 ml juice bottle here that is fed with this plunger. So each one of these boxes is burned and numbered, which is pretty slick, and the device really works pretty well. I don't really have any complaints. One thing I would like to see is potentially a slightly bigger catch cup, and we'll take a look at the reasoning for that. But otherwise, the device is rock solid. It absolutely is super comfortable in the hand, and the woodwork here is really, really well done. So let's do this. I'm going to take a big old puff. We're going to flip the camera around, and we're going to take a look at it. So here we have the feeder grip in all of its wonderful woodworking glory. You can really see here these nice rounded edges. They're very smooth. They're very well sanded and put together. The whole box is constructed really well. So again, this is the right-handed model. So here you can see the plunger. When you're looking at it, the right-handed model will actually have the plunger on the left side, so that when you have it in your hand, you can wrap it around and get to it with one of your, either your bird flipping finger or your ring finger. So inside the box here, let's take a look. The box is primarily pressure fit, but there are also a pair of earth magnets here at the bottom that are going to hold this in place. Each grip, whether it's the feeder or the VV or any of the other ones, they are engraved. This one happens to be number 41, and then Brad has a woodburn stamp here that's got his name on it and says handcrafted by himself. Let's set the door aside here for a moment, and let's look internally. So here we can see a 6 ml bottle of juice, and here's an 18650. I'm going to go ahead and pop the battery out here. If you notice, I do have a spacer on it. That is intentional. The spacer just keeps this particular battery from rattling. The hydrant batteries always seem to be just a touch shorter. So when I put this in here, interestingly enough, if you look, you can see that the battery actually makes contact here, and you can hear it click in, with the bottom of the button, which is just something a little bit different. I haven't really seen that working that way before, but not a safety concern or anything, just a little bit interesting. So here you can see the actual button mechanism used. Again, this button is a nice flat, somewhat clicky button. Feed system is operated by the plunger. So as I peel the bottle back here, We will also reveal the same engraving here, number and stamp from Brad inside the box, and it's a little bit shady, but just because of the lighting I've got to use here. But this bolt looks like a bolt or a screw here. This is actually the plunger for the juice bottle. So the juice bottle utilizes probably the nicest piece of tubing I've ever seen in a juice fed mod. It's very thick. You know, it's got about the same size opening, probably about a 16th or 32nd of an inch opening, but the tube is considerably thicker and a little bit more rigid than other feeder units, and I very much appreciate that. No need to have to replace that constantly because you're using really flimsy rubber. So to change the bottle, it's pretty easy to get the bottle out, especially if you have the battery out. You can kind of just grab it with a fingernail or grab it with a finger, pull it out. You can unscrew it, change the bottle. It takes just a standard 6ml bottle. I actually have some of Brad's tobacco Bliss loaded up in here. Juice is going to feed regardless of viscosity really pretty well because you do end up putting quite a bit of pressure on it with the plunger, which once I get the spacer back on here, we will look at next. So when I actually press the plunger, it presses directly on the bottle here. So let me go ahead and, there's my big hairy arm. I'll slide this back together and we can see the feed in action. So we can see it feeding. It is going to pull a lot of that extra juice right back in just at the power of suction there. I would like to see the catch cup be just a touch bigger. This is what happens for me. I like to really feed an atomizer, probably almost overfeed it sometimes. So having a bigger catch cup means when I set it down, the juice that leaks back out of the atomizer isn't going to go everywhere. Next thing we need to do is check out what this is going to do under load. So here is a 1.5 ohm Cisco atomizer going on to the device, freshly charged AW high drain IMR 18650. And let's see what this does. 3.8. So right about 3.8, which is pretty standard for you know, most tube mods or box mods that are relying on one 18650 under load with a 1.5 ohm atomizer. So let's feed this a little bit and talk one more time real quick about the feed. The feed here, this is not going to be for the feeble fingered. It does take quite a bit of pressure here on this feed plunger. So if you are someone who maybe doesn't have very good grip strength, this might not be the best mod for you. And likewise as well, it is very big in the hand. Here is a 808 PCC, and you can see that it's pretty much the same size, just about as the 808 PCC, but nearly 3 times as thick before the plunger. Plunger also makes it a little bit not pocket friendly, but regardless, this is a really solid, very, very well built, well crafted mod. There are some seams here and you can barely tell where the wood joins together. Brad's done just a fantastic job, and he's obviously used some really, really high quality wood on this particular device. This is really a great juice feeder when it's all said and done. So again, really, really nice, well crafted, very solid, durable. It feels great in the hand. Absolutely love the ergonomic feel of this particular mod. It is not for people with dainty little hands who don't have a lot of grip strength. I do feel it's important to put that out here, but at $135, this is a really good deal for a nice handcrafted wooden feeder mod that you can take anywhere with you. This is going to take a bit of a beating. I mean, it really is very, very sturdy. There's no rattles. I mean, maybe a little bit from the battery. Again, I do have the AW high drain in here with the spacer to help for the length. If I use a standard 18650, like a Trust Fire or something that's just a little bit longer, there's no rattles at all. But an 18650 6ml juice bottle, low resistance atomizer, assuming you don't shake it all over the place and spill half your juice out like I just did, is going to last you probably a couple of days. The average Vaper, probably about 2 full days of use, even with a 1.5 ohm addy. So I'm really, really enjoying this. This is one that I will not be parting with anytime soon. I do thank Brad very much for sending this to me. Again, this can be purchased over at sweet-vapes.com. Head on over there. Brad's got some really nice juice in here right now. I have the Tobacco Bliss. His green apple is also really good. It's a great kind of mix between you know, that sour tart candy green apple and an actual Granny Smith. So good juices, fantastic mods. Really would highly endorse this as being a solid mod to go pick up, especially at the $135 price point. Now the ebony and wood choice may alter the price a little bit. I'm not 100% positive, but regardless, nice solid showing here from Brad over at SweetVapes.com. Again, I am Basilray. You can catch me Monday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Vape TV Live. Feel free to subscribe here on YouTube. Follow me on Twitter at Basilray. Facebook.com/Basilray. Facebook.com/Basilray. That's the URL. And of course, the Basil phone, 612-293-6405. It's been my pleasure to be with you here again for a few minutes. Until next time, please, as always, take care.